Okay, it's good to be here with you. It's even good to be content to be right here with you. So we can just go within. Let ourselves gently relax here as we start our gathering. Even to feel like this time is a sacred time. Sort of like a feeling you sometimes get when you walk into a church or a cathedral. That we're entering a holy space here in this moment. And this ability to enter a holy space is always with us. It's always available to us. But again, right now, it is the choice that we can make. Even if it's just for a little bit, to let ourselves feel the hush of heaven. Feel the gentle silence of the present moment. And to remember that this is here with us always. This presence is like a good friend who we forgot was right here by our side. Happily rediscovered. And it's even closer because this feeling is within. And no matter how much we've forgotten it, not been aware of it or remembered it, It's always here, always available. I heard a spiritual teacher once say that if he were asked if he were able to go back to his younger self, what would he say to himself? And the answer he gave was he would say to himself that everything that he is searching for is actually within. And then he said, I don't think I would have gotten it. But that's a gentle thing to discover. That everything that you've ever been looking for is within. That there actually is no out there. There is no other. And to just feel the striving energy gently relax away. Just letting it all dissolve away. Some beautiful words at the end of chapter 18. Love is not learned. Its meaning lies within itself. And learning ends when you have recognized all it is not. That is the interference. That is what needs to be undone. Love is not learned because there never was a time in which you knew it not. There never was a time in which you knew love not. I'm going to read that again. Love is not learned. Its meaning lies within itself. And learning ends when you have recognized all it is not. That is the interference. That is what needs to be undone. Love is not learned because there never was a time in which you knew it not. Sometimes if a word or a phrase or few lines in the Course draw you in, maybe you just reread them as many times as you want. Let them carry you deeper and deeper. And these few sentences are a beautiful gift. We can use this to unwind a bit of our tension. Even to remember that all we're achieving as we practice the Course is to undo what's not real, to undo what's in the way of what is so, what is real. You know, Jesus is so nice about it. He tells us these beautiful messages with such sweet words. He never is harsh or demanding, strict. He's just loving. He wants us to join him. Look at the Course as a very big, many-paged invitation. You know, what do you do with an invitation? Well, you RSVP, you respond to the invitation. So what are you going to respond with? Are you going to say yes to this invitation? You're going to say joyous, full yes? You can. What do you feel like? What's true for you in this moment? Sometimes people get an invitation and they stick it on the fridge. Oh yeah, I gotta respond to that. Well, that's what most of us actually have done with the Course. we put this big invitation and we think, yeah, that's pretty nice. Think about that. I can choose love now. Yeah. When do I need to get back to you by? And even that, there's no judgment. Jesus isn't pressuring us. He just wants us to be happy. That's all. But it's good to see. It's good to see if instead of replying, responding and saying, yes, we're throwing the invitation in a drawer or up, I'll get back to that. You don't have to wait. You don't have to linger. I mean, it's a pretty nice invitation. It's like being invited to like a really sweet gathering with the dearest, most loving friends for all eternity. Loving embrace without limit. So if there's still an I don't know here, still a maybe, maybe not, it's good to see that. It's good to look at that. That's fun. I like the times I've gotten an invitation in the mail. Oh, wow, invitation. Fill out the little card and send it back. I mean, this is a very elaborate invitation. You know, it's not just, I don't know, WhatsApp message or something. It's like all the love and care poured into this. I mean, Jesus poured all of this love into and through a woman, you know, Helen, and through Helen into Bill for 7 years. I mean, that's a beautiful invitation. And through them, each of us. So this is where we just want to be really open. If we're still on the fence, if we're still part yes, part no, let's get curious. Let's open up that reluctance or uncertainty or rejection, whatever's here, because that's how we clear away these interferences to love. Maybe you even have a memory of someone inviting you, maybe like one of your favorite people inviting you to something, party or a meal, or just to come over and talk. Like, what a good feeling that is. It feels so good. And this course is Jesus's love letter to you, inviting you back to yourself, inviting you back to the home that you never really left, but has left your awareness. I mean, I have always loved getting an invite from a friend to come together. And this invitation is to the place you've always known. This is why he's telling us love is not learned. We don't need to learn what we've never left, what we've never, stopped being. We just need to clear out the interferences. So it's a little like, the old school radio dials. If you weren't quite on the station, you're going to hear some static. Well, what do you need to do? Maybe you're kind of hearing what you want to hear, but you're hearing some interference. You need to fine tune that dial a little. You need to move it closer to where you really want to be. And if you stick with it, you're going to get to a point where all you're hearing is that song that you want to be hearing. Nothing's getting in the way. And Obviously, in our gatherings here, we use, opening up about what we're feeling, what's on our mind, to help clear the static of fear, doubt, anger, unforgiveness. So as always, if someone is feeling to share, very welcome. Let me actually read these few lines once more. Love is not learned. Its meaning lies within itself. And learning ends when you have recognized all it is not. That is the interference. That is what needs to be undone. Love is not learned because there never was a time in which you knew it not. Go a little further this time too. Learning is useless in the presence of your Creator, whose acknowledgement of you and yours of Him so far transcend all learning that everything you learned is meaningless, replaced forever by the knowledge of love and its one meaning. So he's taking us to a place beyond learning, because in that state, pure love, there's nothing more to learn. But if someone has something they'd like to bring forward, something they'd like to set down, that's always optional. And, if sharing in the group is not what you're called to, you're always invited to share with Holy Spirit. He is so open to everything you want to share. There's literally nothing you could share with him that would in any way diminish his perfect love for you. I think as we began this journey, we actually think that we will be judged by Jesus or Holy Spirit, if we are really honest with them. We open up everything in our minds and our being to them. But it's just not the case. It's impossible. It's literally like if there was a child who'd had a nightmare and came and shared that nightmare with a loving parent. The loving parent would in no way think less of that child for having had a scary dream. This is exactly the same situation with Spirit, with Holy Spirit and Jesus. They see nothing to be afraid of. They know that it's just a passing hallucination. Jesus uses that word. He calls our experience here an actual hallucination. What does that mean? It is not real. You are seeing things that are not there. You're worried about things that are not actually true. But how do you dispel a hallucination? How do you convince yourself or someone who is going through a hallucination that what they're seeing isn't actually so? Because it seems really real. I had this experience in my life. I was with a friend, caring for a friend of mine, and he was on some very strong painkillers. And he was literally hallucinating some very frightening things. And so it sort of came to me, how can I help my friend understand that what he's seeing is not true? And it was not easy. It's not easy because he was so convinced of it. He was convinced that there were people kind of out to get him who were not actually there. And I found if I spoke out directly against them, he got very defensive because he was so sure of them. I think this is why Jesus comes at our hallucination in so many angles. He knows that we actually feel threatened at the idea of letting it go, letting the hallucinations go, letting our belief in them go. So he comes all these different ways to talk about it. He doesn't even use the word hallucination very much because he knows it's very pointed. It's very clear. It's actually a lot simpler to just say, well, we want to let go of the fear. We want to let go of all the fear. Here he says, let go of all the interferences to love. And in the process of doing that, we're going to let go of our belief in the hallucinations. So eventually my friend got out of the situation because the painkillers wore off. He could see that what he was experiencing didn't actually happen. And again, the way that we let the drug of separation wear off is we bring our fears forward. We bring them to Holy Spirit. We ask for healing with our misperceptions. Anytime we're angry, anytime we're jealous, anytime we're judgmental, anytime we're fearful, we know that we are misperceiving. Why? Because only love is real. So we can just stick with what's in our experience. If we're in a state of peace and joy, beautiful. Let's just ride that wave. But if that's not the experience, then it's 100% guarantee you have a forgiveness opportunity right now. You can offer this grievance up for healing. You can ask for a new perspective. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait for something else to happen to ask for healing. You don't have to accomplish 5 other things before you can remember to pray for forgiveness. You can do it right now. And if the grievance is about a specific person, ask for a new perspective on this person. If you think they've done something upsetting to you, they've harmed you, they've hurt you, said something unkind or done something out of integrity, then this is your opportunity. If you are not seeing them as your holy brother, fellow son of God, then you have an opportunity. You're not seeing the Christ in them. If you're not feeling complete and perfect love for them, you have an opportunity right now to ask for a shift in your mind. And it's actually a good way to think about this. If you can think of anyone in the entire world throughout time and space with nothing but perfect love, open-hearted care for them, that's great. And if you're not in that full love with everyone, then that person or that group of people, that whole line of people, that's it right there. You have your forgiveness path right in front of you. Go through those people in your mind and ask for healing. Go through the list of grievances with each person until you feel nothing but love for them. You know, when you look at it this way, some people get a little scared. They're like, oh my God, I have a long list. And a lot of people on the list, I have a list for each person. I'm going to be at this for a while. Well, so be it. That's what we're here for. Let's clean that list. You want the list of everyone you could think of to be a list of love. You want it to be a list of joy. You want it to be a list of peace. And if that's not what's in your mind, let's use it. Let's clear it. Again, share it in the group if you want. If you're not wanting, share it with Holy Spirit. Just share it. Get it out of the closed corners. Open up these sort of dank closets in the mind. We don't want that. Now, if you move into a place and it's got like a funky smell and it's got some weird, the first thing you do is you start to clean. You want to clean the place. Well, if your mind has a funky smell, get in there and clean it. Don't just accept it. You live in a place with a weird smell for long enough, you don't notice it anymore. But you know what? Everyone else does. They come in, they notice, oh, something's a little off here. Let's not do that. We don't need to play that game. Let's just clean it. And why do we want to clean it? Because it's for your own well-being. When you have that clean place, that clean list in you, when you go down that list and everyone just makes you happy, when you think of them with love and joy, that means that you're experiencing love and joy. And again, if you've got some doozies on that list, great. Work with those people. Holy Spirit, help me look at this doozy with love. I really think they have a major problem. But you know what? If I think that I've got the problem, I don't want to believe my misperceptions. I don't want to believe these hateful and hurtful thoughts about someone else. Again, because all of that is going to land right in my lap. I don't want to see anyone through eyes of judgment and guilt and shame, condemnation. Because every time I do that, that's what I feel. Maybe not in that moment, but it's coming. That's how the mind works. We're either generating fear or we're choosing kindness and love. It's so stark, these two options. It is black and white. The mind is black and white. There is no gray in the mind. Because what is not love is an interference. It is here to be undone. And the reason that the Course is so repeating this idea in so many different ways again and again and again is because the more clear we get on this, the more dedicated we get to our own healing. The more that we see that the power to experience our own peace of mind is in our hands, not someone else's hands, but it's in our hands, the more that we just want to heal. We want to wake up. In the past, I would go to, healing seminars and things, and whenever it came to the part in the activity, someone could volunteer to do some healing. I mean, my hand I was raising my hand every time, even if it was a group I went back to again and again, I was always raising my hand. I mean, the teacher stopped calling on me because she wanted to give someone else a turn. But I wanted the healing. If other people wanted to wait, they could wait. I don't need to wait. Why wait for heaven? I don't want to wait. Why wait for healing? Why wait for a lessening in conflict in my mind? I don't know. I don't want to wait for that. We don't have to wait. We don't have to delay. We don't have to imagine at some point there'll be the proper circumstances for this issue to unfold. And, I don't have to consult our, horoscope to see when the conditions are proper for our awakening. No, don't do that. Don't waste your time. Work with what's here. Again and again and again and again and again. Work with what's here. And then what do? Then you next time something comes up, you work with what's here again. After we start to get this, it gets repetitive, but in a good way. We just repeat. We just repeat the forgiveness process. We just work with whatever smudge of fear is in our mind. I want to hand this over to. I want to hand this over to. I want to come back to my right state of being. Would I let this upset stand between me and my right frame of mind? Maybe in the past I would have said yes, but I don't want to wait. I don't want to let this interfere with the truth of who I am and my awareness. It's not worth it. So this is where the diligence comes in. This is where the desire to heal gets stronger and stronger and stronger. It becomes a force in its own right, sweeping away all of the fears and upsets and old grievances and false beliefs. If you think about like a little tiny mountain stream that starts in a high place, it's like our healing journey is like that. Well, it's just a very light little flow. But then what happens? Well, it merges. It emerges and it merges and it gets stronger and stronger until the stream is a force. And this healing desire in us is like that. We want it to merge and deepen and grow. We want to rush headlong into the sea of endless love, which is our truth. There's nothing that's going to stop us if we don't stop ourselves. And we're tired of stopping ourselves. That's the realization we need to get to. Even a mighty river can have a dam built in front of it, but don't do it. Don't build that dam. Get back in the flow. We want to get back in the flow because that is going to take us where we want to be. So again, I'll just see if someone wants to share. Solveig?
There's some fear just came up here, and I felt kind of shameful. It was before the meeting, because in a way it doesn't make sense. Seemingly it looks like there's some Saharan dust or something in the air outside, and I just felt this fear of not being able to breathe, my asthma, all that up again. And then I've had so much healing around that. So I just like, why am I suddenly so fearful? This is suddenly something new, something unknown, something seemingly scaring out there. I didn't want to go outside and eat or anything. I was just really fearful. Yeah, I guess I can still feel the fear. I feel like trapped. Like, yeah. Yeah, not knowing how long it's going to be there. Definitely fearful of getting dust in my lungs and not being able to breathe.
Well, this feels like a good classroom.
I recognize it was the same fear I had in the beginning with this house. I was afraid of being inside the house because there was so much dust and everything, dogs, and I don't fear that anymore. And now I have fear of going out. It doesn't make sense.
But you said you've had some healing with it too.
Yeah. In a way, it was just to allow it and give it the time it took. But also, I was gentle, you know. I went out every time I felt I couldn't breathe. But there's the thing you said about it can come again and again and again. That just made me, because I felt really shameful facing this again.
Yeah, it's good. It's good looking at this. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's very windy here tonight. Yeah, the winds have changed. Oftentimes our emotions are like that. They're like a storm. But what's the best thing to do if there's a storm? You go inside and you let the storm blow by. Well, every storm forever has always blown by. That's what they do. Come up and then they blow by. And maybe I'll just read a section yet again for us. Love is not learned. Its meaning lies within itself. And learning ends when you have recognized all it is not. That is the interference. That is what needs to be undone. Love is not learned because there never was a time in which you knew it not. There never was a time in which you knew God's love not, in which you were unaware truly of the depth of your being of that love. So, and on that note, Have a beautiful night or day. We'll see you again soon.